Pretty much every single person told me that if I go down this path, my political career will be over. I will do what I believe is right. As mayor, my responsibility is to Edison Township, and I want to make sure that everything that we do gears towards Edison Township.
A mayor of a smaller town such as Edison, right? In the context of the United States, what things that you do can affect or impact the bigger decisions?
I think one of the largest things that I view as an accomplishment in my first term, or since the duration that I've been mayor, was tackling the crime bill. And that impacted every single person that lives in New Jersey. I listen and pay attention very closely to constructive criticism. If someone is personally attacking another individual or myself, I have zero tolerance for that. You objectively may not think about how gas prices going up or a war in a foreign country impacts a municipality. In 2022, gas prices had crossed $4 a gallon. When gas prices spiked right when I got into office, we ended up spending that year over about $1.3 million.
Right.
That difference of $700,000 that we had to pay in Edison Township is just about one tax point. So not only did you pay it at the pump, you later had to pay it through your tax bill too.
Let's talk about this magical, or this word that is being used so much in this term of the ruling party, right? It's the word tariff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people explain how it also affects people who are bringing the goods into the country. How do you see that whole strategy and move around the tariffs? Do you think it was well thought? Welcome everyone to the Halak Show. Today's guest, I've already introduced him, but let's start the conversation. So Mayor Sam, thank you so much firstly for giving us this opportunity and having a word with us. Let me first start by saying, right, how should I address you? Mayor Sam? Sam?
You call me Sam. That's
Sam?
fine.
Okay. So it's about preference, right? Like you chose as a preference. My first question is, how do you look at when somebody chooses a side? Let's say they have to decide between one thing or the other, but then they get labeled as, they don't let you be. You never have a preference about something.
Yeah.
And you being in the role that you are in right now, you have to make choices every single day.
Yes.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but then you are so visible that it's all you.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
So I equate it to, and that's a great question, I equate it to having siblings in a family structure. In a family structure, if you have a sibling, someone is going to at some point be right or wrong, and someone is going to have an opinion between a brother and a sister.
Right.
And they both go to the parent and say they're each side of their story. And when that happens, the parent has to pick which one is right? Or
Right.
which one makes more sense, or who is going to get what.
Right.
And that's the same kind of scenario that I often get into. So I have to pick between tens of thousands of people, because Edison is one of the largest municipalities. And I just have to make sure that at the end of the day, I'm doing what is right for everybody.
Right. The lot you have done is like staggering. When we were trying to do some research, and actually when we walked in and we saw, there used to be times when everyone said politics is for like, it requires certain experience to be in a certain role, right? You have kind of changed it. When we saw the wall of all the mayors that Edison had, not just being an first Asian, but you were the youngest. How do you see that when people say, it requires a certain amount of experience before you get into a seat of a mayor, for example?
So Mayor Choi was before me, and I was his intern,
Okay.
which will lead in perfectly. I started in this building as an intern when I was 14 years old. So I remember being in these halls. I remember being with the mayor when I was 14 years old under Mayor George Spadaro. And I think experience matters a lot. And part of the reason why we were able to achieve so much throughout these last 4.5 years so far was simply because I had that experience in pretty much every single department. I had interned in every single department, you name it, whether it be, I was actually employed in the police department in dispatch
Yes.
for a time period. I served on the zoning board for 2 years. I was on the Fair Rental Housing Authority for 4 years, all going back.
Right.
And that experience really helped shape what I know should be the priorities of the town. But when you think about elections and politics and government, nowadays a lot of people wake up and they have strong opinions, and that's great.
Right.
They should want to get involved, but it's also important to make sure that they have legitimate experience that they can parlay into those positions.
Right. And the reason why I say about the experience is, let's say when you were elected, you had 72%. That's a big number by margin that you won, right? But then there is this 28% that's sitting on the side, right? How do you try to make it more inclusive, where you want both of them to, you want to make that number 100%, right? To kind of back you. That really feels empowering when there is, but you already have 72%. That's huge.
Yeah.
So how do you pay attention to those 28% and try to work towards nudging them in what you are seeing as your vision?
To be honest, I don't.
Okay.
I care about the town as a whole, and I want to make sure that the policies that we implement directly help every single person.
Right.
But if you were part of the last election cycle after every single thing that we did, and you're forming an opinion one way or another, like if you don't see how much work we got done,
Right.
and you're in that minority, I've moved on past that. I know that there's another 73% that I'm working with, and I will continue to chip away at those priorities.
That feeds perfectly into my flow. It's like,
Yeah.
do you sleep?
No.
You get to sleep?
No.
The
If I get 5 hours of sleep, that is terrific.
That is brilliant. I focus on my beauty sleep, which is, I have 2 boys, and I crib sometimes to my wife. I cannot get like past 7 hours of sleep. But when I look at someone like you, you are a mayor, you are running a whole town, and this is fascinating to me. And right now also you give us some time out of your schedule, which we are so grateful for. So I envy that about you, that you work round the clock. And my next question is regarding the same topic, but when you are a mayor of a smaller town such as Edison, right? In the context of the United States, what things that you do can affect or impact the bigger decisions? How do you see yourself in that process?
I think one of the largest things that I view as an accomplishment in my first term, or since the duration that I've been mayor, was tackling the crime bill. And that impacted every single person that lives in New Jersey. So I'll give you context. As mayor, my responsibility is to Edison Township, and I want to make sure that everything that we do gears towards Edison Township. However, the last few years, we were hit with the epidemic of home invasions, burglaries, and auto thefts. And along with that, part of the problem was that juveniles that were caught by police departments across the state, if they were juveniles, they would be let out within 24 hours. And so the problem continued.
Right.
We had home invasions, not just in Edison, Marlboro, Monroe, East Brunswick, you name it, Bergen County, everywhere, Monmouth County. It was a major problem. And I had, behind the scenes for about a year and a half, I started speaking to the governor, the speaker, the state senate president about how the law needs to change. And I started talking to a lot of folks behind scenes, as well as political stakeholders too. Pretty much every single person told me that if I go down this path, my political career would be over. And no one wanted to touch the bill.
Right.
They said, Sam, you're still new, you're still a rookie, don't do it, you're gonna lose this battle. This is not what the Democratic Party, which I'm affiliated with, wants to see. And I said, I don't care, because I know it's the right thing to do. And that's kind of like my personality. I will do what I believe is right. And I knew that curtailing or stopping home invasions was an absolute. What I also noticed was that certain populations and demographics, those who are wealthier, with higher end cars were also impacted by this too. And I wanted to make sure that, quite frankly, every single person had a voice. And I thought that there's no demographic, whether you are, there's no demographic that is comfortable with a home invasion.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I stood up politically at the top of my lungs and I said that this has to change. And we reached out to countless PBAs across the entire state. I made it a mission to personally start calling. I would take a few minutes out of my day just to call different PBAs around the state. And I called different mayors across the state. I called different assembly members, state senators, and eventually a couple more mayors jumped on, a couple more stakeholders jumped on, and before you knew it, the bill that was introduced passed unanimously. It went from 0 supporters to 36-0 in the state Senate. It was unanimous passing, and 73-1, I believe that was the number. I could be off by that 73 number, but it was only one person that opposed it. And the governor actually signed the bill right here in Edison Township. Since then, we've had basically a 90% reduction in home invasions here in Edison Township, and across the state, more than half of home invasions and burglaries have stopped.
Right.
So I'm proud to say that that little voice from Edison made a profound difference throughout all of New Jersey.
Right. That's amazing. And I want to continue on this same topic for a bit. I'm doing this, let me give an analogy. I'm doing this plank challenge because I've been trying to lose weight and work on my back and everything, right? What happens is every time I do the plank, and I'm doing 30-day challenge, so I'm doing every single day I'm going to do plank.
Okay.
It's not about how I have to do it for 1 minute. It's about how much can I push to get longer and longer.
Okay.
Say the plank position, right? But every second day when I come, it doesn't get easier. But I have better understanding of how to keep my back lower. Like, right? You already have finished your first term. Does it get easier or does it get harder? How does it work? Being a mayor.
If you love what you do, you're never working a single day. And I love my job. I wake up and I go to sleep saying to my staff, my wife, my family, and friends, I love my job. It does not get any easier. It is always evolving because the amount of issues that arise in any municipality the size of ours, it's never going to end. So
Right.
You just kind of take it every day and try to do the most that you can.
How do you take criticism? If you have, like you just said, you had nudged people for the bill for the home invasion, and gradually people changed. But let's say you being in that decision, let's say something is very orthodox to you, but you want it to be implemented.
Yeah.
Do you have what kind of leadership strategy do you have, or if you can share with people when they get stuck in such situations, what can they do?
I listen and pay attention very closely to constructive criticism. I value constructive criticism. I value when people are critical, but then also have a suggestion with it, especially. If someone is personally attacking another individual or myself, I have zero tolerance for that. It's in one ear, out the other.
So, personal attacks.
Yeah.
Last 2 elections, and again, I'm from India, but I've spent more life of mine on this earth in the US.
Okay.
As a citizen now. But what I've seen globally as well, lately things get personal. So instead of talking about policies and what you want to show the world, because you are selling a dream that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Once you are in the power, then you will try to work on all your dreams that you have shown people, right? It gets personal. Where do you, if you were given an opportunity to participate in a presidential debate, hypothetically, right?
I would never do that.
Let's. I want to know your opinion. How do you look at that? Because when we see, it's more about fighting, personal attack. It's not on policy. When I'm electing somebody, I want you to tell me what you are actually going to. How are you going to change my life?
Yeah. I focus on making sure that people, again, are being constructive. I want people to be thoughtful with their approaches on policies. I don't appreciate it when people only look at a single issue in the moment of time, because that's not a full picture. Right? You have to look at everything objectively. And I think that part of what we need to do is always take a step back, put yourself in the shoes of somebody else.
Right.
What is their perspective? I try to do that every day. Where is somebody else coming from? And it's always evolving because you may need, when you put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, as well as another person, you're going to be able to understand their position a lot more comfortably. That's not to say that you'll agree with them all the time, but at least you can understand where they're coming from.
Right.
And I think that that's really important in the world of government nowadays to understand where someone is coming from so that you can effectuate policy changes for long-term benefits.
Gotcha. Let's talk FIFA.
Okay.
We are this is going to be the most like recent event that will happen.
Yeah.
Unless things get changed. But like you have proposed this. You have worked very closely with Edison's businesses, everybody, right? And you're proposing this wallet. Is it a passport?
Passport.
Yeah. What's our preparation like to be able to host? Like we will be expecting like hundreds and thousands of people
Yeah.
will be hitting Edison, every town, right?
Yeah.
But like we are closer to Red Bull, and compared to so much of where I'm from. What kind of preparations are you involved in?
We are very excited about the World Cup coming to New Jersey. There are games being played in East Rutherford and there are games being played in Philadelphia. So we are near equidistant between both.
Right.
Geographically. It makes a lot of sense for all the tourists that are coming to both of those cities to stay right here in Edison Township. One unique thing about Edison, among many, is that we have the most ethnic restaurants in the state.
I agree.
And it's something that we are very proud of. We are the restaurant capital of New Jersey, and we want for people to dine at our eateries. I believe that would be knowing that you can have food from all over the world in one city or one municipality, I think is a very valuable selling point for anyone that's coming from abroad.
Right.
So I want to make sure that everyone knows that when they're coming here for FIFA, they also eat here and they prioritize our restaurants.
Yeah, and we had so many good cafes, so many good like nice local culture as well,
Yeah.
along with like international culture that we are proud to be part of that Edison Township. So one thing, you have any favorite teams outside of
US. That's
I
it.
mean, of course, it's US. But let me lean in.
I bleed red, white, and blue.
National. Well, India is also blue, but you're not playing in the World Cup. But when we had the Nashua, when US and India was playing cricket, we had T20 World Cup that we
Yeah.
hosted last year. One very amazing person in the security person, I had a VIP parking. He asked me, who are you supporting? And I told him, of course, India. Of course, US. And he's like, no, I know it's India. I'm like, you saw my t-shirt inside, huh? And I was like, it's a bittersweet. I'm going to be happy whoever wins. I'm going to be sad whoever wins.
Yeah.
So it's like they're both my countries. So I don't have to choose in between. But sports is something that also how aware or how up to date you keep yourself when it comes to like sports in general.
I have my favorite teams.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. USA all the way.
Yes.
All right. I'm happy with that. I'm proud of that. By the way, mine is Argentina.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I like Messi a lot.
Okay.
He's one guy.
He's a good player.
He's a fantastic player. He's a great player. He's the best, I would say, for me. Yeah. So I also want to let's talk about when you look at the world that is changing so fast, at rapid pace, and AI is something that it's at the forefront, and you cannot deny it. You have to adapt it.
Mhm.
Are you thinking on anything on terms that people should see in the future that you will be introducing when it comes to AI?
We are in town hall. We see the evolution of AI. It's here. We are working in many capacities. We were the first in New Jersey to implement AI in our engineering department. And we know the impact that it can have on regular work. I always say to my staff that we should try to utilize AI as much as we possibly can, except for letting it replace our thought process. So we have to make sure it supplements our work. I'll give you an example. People ask me to use AI for the best sentence structure or the best paragraph to post, and I will not do it. And the reason is because I don't want to be in the habit of letting AI generate words for me.
Right.
Think of it like the navigation system, right? There was a point where I was so good without the navigation system, I could navigate around perfectly well. Generally speaking, I'm still okay, but you become reliant on it. I used to know every single person, all my friends' phone numbers.
Right.
You don't do that anymore.
No, never. It's
And
been a while.
I don't want those basic skills to be gone. And there's so much data now. There's so many studies that have been shown. MIT just had another study on how AI really impacts the brain. Social media impacts the brain.
Right.
And your functions, your learning abilities drastically drop. You become more anxious. All of that happens. And I think it's important to use it so it's used for research purposes.
Right.
Because it's definitely faster, but it should not replace your critical thinking.
Yeah, there's some good reason behind the originality.
Mhm.
You have to have that when you are replying something. If everything AI could do it, then like you might as well let AI run the country.
Yeah.
Which who knows in like the distant future that could be the case. But it's the whole humanity part that makes it more. You can connect better.
Yeah.
In your flaws hides and resides everything that is about you,
Yeah.
which makes you you, right? And it's a human side. Let's talk about this gas prices and grocery prices lately. And how does, first of all, how just one choke point causes so much of an issue for the entire world, right?
Mhm.
And we have another channel and when we talk about like we break down this complicated parts. When something happens which you don't agree, but then now you have to live with to fix it. What do you do about this situation? Like how do you go about this?
Well, let me tell you how it impacts us in Edison Township. You objectively may not think about how gas prices going up or a war in a foreign country impacts a municipality. In 2022, gas prices had crossed $4 a gallon. 2022 was when I first took office, and our budget had allocated $500,000 towards fuel costs for all of our vehicles. That includes police, fire, engineering department, you name all of our departments, all of our callers, $500,000. When gas prices spiked right when I got into office, we ended up spending that year over about $1.3 million.
Right.
That difference of $700,000 that we had to pay in Edison Township is just about one tax point. So not only did you pay it at the pump, you later had to pay it through your tax bill too.
Right.
So we understand that when there are issues that happen abroad, people think about it in terms of the news. You might log on to CNN and think, this is what these are my emotions. You're getting hit at the pump, but on top of that, we're also getting hit here in town hall too. I paid attention to not just our fuel costs,
Right.
but even our cleaning supplies. All those things go up. So
Right.
you're paying for it in multiple ways.
Right. No, that's good to understand from your perspective as well, right? How does it impact you? So thanks for explaining that part. Let's talk about this magical or this word that is being used so much in this term of the ruling party, right? It's the word tariff, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people explain how it also affects people who are bringing the goods into the country,
Yeah.
right? There is a very well reason why there are imports and exports in place.
Yeah.
So that certain places, if they offer you like a better price, you are okay to go and approach them and sort of try and do business with them, right? How do you see that whole strategy and move around the tariffs? Do you think it was well thought? What's your opinion on that?
We here in Edison Township are probably one of the best examples in New Jersey with the impact of how tariffs can impact the local economy. I speak to local business owners every single day. And because we have such a diverse population, whether it be East Asian markets, European markets, or South Asian markets, Edison Township businesses were disproportionately impacted by tariffs. And I saw that firsthand when I was talking to individuals. Across the board, every single ethnicity, every single restaurant would say that they are experiencing a 25 to 30% decline in their business.
Right.
Other areas, such as clothing, they saw their costs go up as well. So I saw on a local level how that impacted basically every single nationality.
Right.
It was unique to see it here. And I also believe that's why, it's not a surprise why Governor Mikey Sherrill, in the very first speech that she gave when she became governor, she mentioned Oak Tree Road and she mentioned Patel Brothers because we here in Edison Township feel that.
Right.
So, it was disproportionately impacting business owners, and our local economy was significantly hurt by it.
Right. Gotcha. Now, something on a lighter note, right? You hear that, when you're in politics and when you're trying to, like, let's say you are in the Congress House and you are talking and you are trying to put your point forward, everything is like it can get tensed at times, right? But then behind the back, you might be friends, you might appreciate, right?
Mhm.
We are approaching midterms. Do you see anything? Let's not say anything. What do you see good? Is there any good that you can see that's been happening right now with the way the government is working?
I'm an optimist, and I do believe that more people have woken up because people have strong opinions on every side of the aisle. And I think that it is necessary to tune in and also make sure you always go out and vote, regardless of what your personal opinions are. Or regardless of the time, you should always carve time out to make sure that you go out and vote. And what I mean by that is you should not look at politics in a silo. If you replace the word politics with the phrase public policy, every time you hear the word politics, you replace that with public policy, then every single thing, every single aspect of your life becomes relevant to public policy.
Right.
From the clothes that you are wearing right now, to the glasses that you have
Right.
right now, quite frankly, to the water that you drink, all the food that you eat, every single aspect of your life, one way or another, whether you like it or not, including the air,
Right.
is driven by a public policy decision. All of that is signed off at the end of the day by a government official.
Right.
And so it's important for you to tune in, because if you are not, then you're just a bystander and your voice is not being heard.
Right. That's beautiful to hear and also to understand. When you got your second term, right? You did not think about second term when you were in your first term. You would have had a vision that I want to continue working so that all of my policies that I have thought of, now that the base is ready, now I can get more time to sort of work on them and also bring in new items because I have learned a lot, right? When you only get 4 years to make a mark, what do you do, or what is your mindset like when you do something in that 4 years?
Well, it's interesting how government works differently from the private sector. We are often a lot slower because of the regulations that are in place. And that's for the good of everyone. We can't move at a lightning pace of private sector because we have to think about the full scope and impact of 100,000 people. Right? So because of that, there are barriers. If I want to buy a pen, right, if you want to buy a pen, you can just go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Or you can click on Amazon,
Yeah.
and you'll have it probably at your doorstep within a few hours.
Right.
If we want to buy pens in town hall, it's going to take a couple months. So we have to think about local purchasing laws
Right.
well ahead of time, and we have to lay out everything that we want to do.
Right.
It took 4 years to accomplish everything that we did in my first term, but I'm very proud to say that we got more done than ever before.
Right.
A lot of folks will even acknowledge that the amount of items that we took on
Right.
impacted positively every single age demographic, and we basically squeezed in about 30 years worth of work into a 4-year term. That's how fast we moved.
That's awesome, and I hope you get to be here again and again. And maybe, what's your future? What do you see? What happens next after, let's say, you have now mastered the art of being in your role as a mayor?
Yeah.
Now, what's your vision? What do you go from here?
I have the best job in the world. I'm telling you right now, I love my job, and I look when I go around in community meetings, and I did almost 500 community meetings, front yards, backyards, open-ended. You can ask me whatever question you want. I'm not going to shy away from it. One thing that was consistent was I enjoy hearing directly from the people and making decisions as quickly as I'm able to. There's no other role in government, whether it be the president, the governor, US senator, or congress member, that is so front-facing where we directly are accountable to the people. Because what happens is if you hit a pothole or if your school taxes go up, at the end of the day, or if a crime happens, your first elected official that you're going to think about is what can my mayor do about this? Where's my mayor?
Right.
And the mayor is always the most accessible person as well. And that's why every other Thursday, like today,
Right.
I have open office hours where I'm able to meet with people directly.
Right.
And I enjoy doing that. So as far as me, I love my job. I'm not going anywhere.
That's great. That's great to hear. It's good to see a confident mayor, right? That's
Yeah.
always it's like whenever leader panics, everybody panics. Whenever leader starts being more aggressive, everyone loses it because of what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to see like a calm person who is steady. All right, Sam. So finally, before I let you go, I want to do like I do this with a lot of my guests,
Okay.
just for the fun of it. We had some really nice conversation with you, but here I have a small rapid fire. Just shoot whatever comes to your mind, right? Biryani or butter chicken?
Butter chicken.
Edison or Manhattan for night out?
Ooh. For a night out,
Yeah,
I'll give credit to the city that doesn't sleep in Manhattan.
yeah. But it also depends, right? To eat or just to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. One law you would pass tomorrow.
Everyone should have access to healthcare.
Worst part of the job nobody talks about.
The fake news.
Is there a call you dread most as mayor?
City.
The call you dread most as a mayor.
Oh.
Any call that.
When I hear that someone that I've known for a while has gotten into a life-threatening situation or they've passed. Because I know a lot of folks in town and
Right.
I dread getting that call because I know the impact that it has on the entire neighborhood or the entire street.
Gotcha. FIFA World Cup. Who are you rooting for? Not US.
It's only US.
I mean, you
All
have
or none.
You have to have secondary. My secondary
No.
team is Spain
No,
and US.
it's all or none.
Then I can go England. I have other team, Portugal as well. One word. This is the final question. One word to describe Edison.
Inclusive.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mayor Sam. It was such a pleasure talking to you. And I didn't realize the time flew by so fast. I could continue talking to
sure
you for an
did.
hour. But you are here to represent public, and I'm sure you're so busy, but really appreciate it.
I appreciate you
Thank you
coming
so
out
much.
here as well.
Absolutely. Everyone, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like this episode and if you think somebody will benefit from it, please share it. And now we are on the audio platforms everywhere. So please enjoy the conversation. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Take care.